How's it going, gamers? So today we get to talk about another favorite game of mine, one that I once again grew up with in the early 2000s to mid 2010s. And that might sound like a rather broad scope of time, but that's the thing. This game might genuinely be my most played game of all time. Now, I'm still rather young, so I could be completely wrong in saying this, but when you hear the numbers spat out, you'll understand exactly what I mean. So today we were talking about a game called Dragon City. It started off on Facebook games, then very quickly became a mobile game once the mobile renaissance came about. And it, like Ninja Wars and Farmville and many other games I'm sure we'll cover later on. This one came to be quite popular to the extent where you might have even heard of this sponsor. Because as I said, this is a mobile game. It has to this day sponsored YouTube channels. Even in its early years of sponsorships, back in the Raid Shadow Legend days, I remember famous sponsorships with Jimothy Beast and Venon Gaming. And like many games, I tend to spend a lot of time in. I caught the trend fairly early, around the first year or two of it being out. When did Dragon City come out? Oh boy, 2012. Yeah, so I started playing this game in 2013. That's 11 years ago now for y'all who feel young. And I played this game consistently all the way up to 2021. Now, I might be perfect for mobile games because from a very early point in time, I realized that I enjoy the act of waiting. The idea of putting dozens of hours into something for a payoff of any size or variety appealed to me immensely and almost immediately. Which honestly, I think it would have made me perfect for Clash of Clans if I ever picked up on that shit. There's not going to be a Clash of Clans video, sorry. I was a Dragon City kid. And boy, did we get balls deep in this game. Every single off day I kept up with. It's taking a whole lot of self-control for me right now, not to spit out a bunch of keywords that if you did not play the game, you would not understand. Like, what the fuck is a heroic summoning orb? That shit sounds straight out of a mobile game, because it was. Then there came a point where it became more on and off. I would play hardcore for about 4 months, and then I would not touch the game for another 4 months, and it would flicker back and forth until eventually I finally looked at the arena. And this might have been the best and worst decision of my life, as over the course of 8 months, non-stop, I played the arena until I made it to around the top 10,000 in the world, which for a player base of 2 to 4 million, it's not that bad. I think it's like 20 million downloads or something. It's a big game. It's a mobile game. They all have a lot of players. And as I said, it's a mobile game. And this is where the mobile aspects of the game really started to hit me. As at this point in the game, they started to experiment. So for those unaware of the mechanics and how Dragon City quite works, it is a very simple breeding and collection game where you have dragons of different elements and you can breed them to get new dragons of combined elements. This has led them to make a game with over 1,500, almost 2,000 dragons at this point. But outside of rarity tiers, which were to be expected, there was not much saying that one dragon was more specifically better than the other. You could pick your favorite just depending on what you like. You like soccer? You might like a soccer dragon. Are you a big fan of tomatoes? Well, you bet your ass we have a tomato dragon. We're kind of at the point where it's kind of at like an Infinicraft level of word usage where you could really say anything, and as long as it's capable of being in a child's mobile game, it likely is. That being said, there is a Netflix and chill dragon. kind of like Pokemon, gives it a special touch of anything can be your favorite. But then they started to mess with special abilities. Very simple special abilities starting off. Granted, the battles were just as simple, so they didn't need to add anything complex. Started off with Titans, which could tank a hit. Vampires, which could steal HP while dealing damage. And it went down that line until eventually it became nearly impossible to keep up with it. It got to the point where in the arena, I knew my dragons were not strong enough. And I, over the course of another 4 months, spent all my time losing every single battle on purpose so I could go all the way back to square one and retrain. And retrain I did. Over the course of a year, I spend my time amongst all my special ability dragons, my vampires, my titans, my whatever the fuck the new keyword was at the day. And when I got to the top, it didn't matter. In the end, it doesn't even matter. Because I never paid a cent. I had grinded this entire time. I had made a guild called the Grinders Guild, and it got so successful that I ended up leaving it and making another one just for more members. There was a Discord server, but a broke boy with pure ambition doesn't mean jack shit into a millionaire with a hyperfixation. And I very quickly got paywalled out of the arena. Yeah, I was hitting top 9,000, top 8,000. I was doing better than before, but there was no way extending past it. And then they did the worst thing they could possibly think of doing. They added a battle pass. And not just any kind of battle pass. These battle passes had exclusive dragons only available in the premium version of these battle passes with multiple abilities combined, completely kind of breaking anything for anybody who dared to try a single ability dragon. Why would you use a single ability when you could have 5? And these battle passes weren't cheap either. They ranged from anything from $20 to $50, sometimes only going for as long as 2 weeks. So if you wanted to stay on your A game with the competitive Dragon City arena, with the Dragon City meta at any point, you were going to at minimum spend $100 a month on just the battle pass, and you would still need to do everything a battle pass is included with, including daily missions that barely give you any rewards, nearly impossible missions that require minimums of weeks of active grinding. And the worst part is, you're not done once you have the dragon. Now, I might have left this mechanic for last on purpose, but this might be the worst part that really separates the grinders to the pay-to-win experience. And that is, a dragon is not at its strongest simply leveling it up to max level. You need to get multiple of said dragon and sacrifice one of them to get these things called orbs. And there are orbs specific to every dragon in the game. So you can only get orbs for a specific dragon by sacrificing that specific dragon. Well, how many orbs does a dragon give you? Well, assuming you're like me and you're getting somewhere from 10 to 16 million food every day, it would take you about 2 to 3 days to max out that dragon. It would start off with around 40 orbs, and it would take you about 2 or 3 days to maximize that specific dragon to give you 100 orbs. You need 120 orbs for its first rank up. Now we're messing with ranks and levels, baby. And you might be able to see where this is going. It kept on going to the point where no matter how much time you pumped into it, it was never worth it unless you were also actively diving money into it. And even if you were actively diving money into it, they wanted you to essentially pay for a full-time job worth of video game grinding. And I think the community has picked up on that because I'm not a Facebook user anymore, but every time I log in to check in on family and whatnot, I always see a post from the Dragon City community explaining how another member, Longstand, is leaving because they cannot stand this level of monetization in a game. I can understand that. I think the best thing they could possibly do for them to just destroy battle passes, seasonal passes that they're called. Though I was complaining about the orbs, I do quite like orb grinding for epic and legendary dragons. Doing it for the heroic tier, which is the final of the rarity, is nearly impossible, but it has been done. And also stop releasing reskinned dragons. Last time I played around 2022, we had about 4 events where all the new released dragons were reskins of other pre-made dragons. I would just really love to see the heart and soul of this game get revived. Someone needs to take a defibrillator to the chest of one of those dead Facebook executives pinching their petties together like it ain't nothing. And then maybe I could play the game again. Now that we're at the end of the video, I'll finally admit, my final playtime with the game was roughly 16,820 odd hours. So I don't think I'm beating that. Keep in mind, I think my second most played game is Pokemon, and I'm taking the entire series, the entire franchise combined to come up with a 3.7 thousand hour time. Not even close. So if someone could message Jonathan Dragon for me and tell him to fix his game, I would really appreciate that. Just like I appreciate you for watching. Oh, remember, we do have a Twitch. And we do post VODs. And we also have a Discord server. Yeah. Yeah. No, you're good. You're good. They're gone. Oh, you nasty gal.